welcome to another episode of Stuck in My Mind podcast. I am your host, Wize, and family. Today's guest is doing something powerful. She's helping us break the chains of a tech-heavy world and bring our joy back. She's the author of Behind the Planet Fassa, host of the Let's There Be Joy podcast, and a coach helping adults and families unplug, reconnect, and rediscover imagination. She's on a mission to pull kids and all of us out of the digital fog and back into creativity, play, and real human connection. This conversation is going to be a lot of fun, so I'm looking forward to it. Let's welcome SS Coulter to Stuck in My Mind podcast.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I love that it's SS and Wize. But please feel free to call me Shannon. My author name is SS. I like like the steamship Coulter or the solar system.
All right. So Shannon, what moment made you say kids need their imagination back, and adults do too?
Yeah. So this goes back a long way, but I am a stepmom. And I will age myself, but I don't care. I like to age myself. So when people look, they're like, oh, that's why that's like that. Like, why would you not say your age, right? So it was back when I was 31. I met my stepkids, and that was 2007. And I'm a Gen Xer, so of course I think I'm being cool, and I go, "Hey guys, go outside and play," because that's
That's what
what
we
I
did.
wanted to do when I was
That's
a
what we
kid,
did.
right?
Yeah.
So they came back in 5 minutes later and didn't know what to do. And that literally changed my life forever. And it's funny because back then we didn't know collectively what we do now. All I knew is that I was freaked out that these three little people, 4, 8, and 10 at the time, didn't know how to play. And now I know why they didn't know how to play, but I say it was a move of the Holy Spirit because I just knew in my heart, I'm like, this isn't going to go well. I don't know why. There was that, but also the sadness of it. Because when I look back, and I'm sure you do on your childhood, and I actually say this all the time, but if anybody listening to this right now, or in the future when they're listening to it, if you think about 3 of your favorite memories at any age, so people in their 50s down to people in their 20s, you shut your eyes and you think about it, it's not going to be anytime you're on a screen. And I felt like back then, and now we know, we are taking away childhood from our kids by putting them on screens. And so I actually was in corporate America at the time, doing corporate communications. I was a consultant, but one of the things I really loved was wellness campaigns. And I started doing that towards the end of my career there. And so they were called health incentive programs. I don't even know if they do them anymore, but they basically would get adults to do things like do a 5K or even, walk on your own. But they would put these things in a system, get points, and they could use points to get rewards. And I saw people quit smoking. I saw people lose weight. I saw people just do the best stuff. And it made me so happy. And I remember at the time, so when I met my stepkids, I was dating my husband. Okay. And I remember I said to him, like, gosh, shouldn't we just grow people up this way? Why are we working so hard to get them healthy? And at that very same moment, after dating him for a year and a half, by the way, he introduced me to his kids. It was brilliant because I was so in love with him and I couldn't leave. And now I had 3 kids. But it was great. We didn't want them to meet me and it not work out. But right when I have that thought, I meet these 3 kids and they need that right now. This is the growing up moment. Like, let's grow them up healthy. So I actually left corporate America and I developed with my husband a health incentive program, which is Planet Fassa for kids. And Fassa is a weird name, but the characters in my books and on the app, they are all named after not characters, cats and dogs that my husband had adopted and loved throughout our life. But the main character was Mufasa, and I could not do that because Disney would have come after me hard. So
Right?
I changed. Yeah, you don't mess with Disney. So I changed it to Fassa and I added an S, and so it's now the Planet Fun Activity Story Service Awards. So got to make everything an acronym, right? So anyway, I started that, and I'll just do long story really short. My husband and I created a website, this health incentive program, with activities and rewards. And I can explain that more later, but we developed that right when apps came out. And back then it cost so much money to do a website. So we went through all this investor funds, and then we had some personal stuff happen that I just stepped away from it. And I'd love to talk about that for the stuck in your mind thing, because I was stuck in my mind about that for a really long time. Like, oh, I left corporate America and I'm such a failure, blah, 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 blah. But 2020 came rolling around and I had never stopped dreaming about this. And if you keep dreaming about something, you're meant to still do it. If
Mm.
you let something go, you are meant to still do it. So I rewrote my books. There's a reason for that, but I rewrote them and I started shopping them around to schools and stuff. And people were like, "Yeah, we really like this." And so I started developing the health incentive plan again. And so I have an app that is a redo of that website with all the lessons I've learned over the last lot of years, and it's coming out in March. But I actually now have an audience for it, whereas before people are like, "Oh, they're fine." No, they're not fine. The kids are not okay. We need to help them, and we need to help us. And so, the reason I do the adult coaching now, it's just a 4-week class. You can take it with me. It's an hour a week. You can take it with me or take it on your own. As I've been going around on podcasts like this and talking about it, a lot of people said, "Well, what about us? What about adults? We're addicted too." And it occurred to me we're never gonna get our kids offline if we don't get offline. We're just not, because 'cause they're watching every move we do. But I do wanna stress, I am not screen free. I love screens. I'm on a screen with you. I would never met you without a screen.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
no,
So
and but there's a time where you need to unplug. It can't be on the screen all the time, and that's
yeah.
something me and the wife have been talking about for the past years. Like, we used to go out on vacation more frequently. Like, she's like, "We need to
Mhm.
get back to that. We need to escape being
Yeah.
online, being at home and watching TV, the screen, whatever screen you're watching, t whatever it is." But yeah,
Whatever it is.
people need to take time to,
Well,
unplug.
and what was so interesting to me is I would watch those kids having those complete breakdowns. I'm sure everybody has seen those when they get the iPad taken away. They're just like
The
little, it's
meltdown,
bad, right?
yes.
And I would hear something like you and I'd be like, "Well, why am I doing this?" And so that's when I got really into the brain, the science behind it. We are addicted to these things. Like we're literally addicted to them. So now I see those little kids and I'm like, that's an addict. You're seeing someone take a needle away from a heroin addict. That is what's happening. Like you're taking away their thing. And that completely changed how I'm approaching this. So in the class, I am telling people, like, hey, I just want to tell you what's going on. I think the smartphone is the cigarette of the 2020s. Like, I want you to know that they purposely made this addicting, like the cigarette, and they're using you. And if you can get an understanding of that, you can take back control of your life.
It's since you mentioned it, right? Um, it was and I do this frequently. I mean, I leave my phone sometimes at home when I go to work, right? And when I'm on break and I don't have my phone, you just notice that everyone else is
Uh-huh.
on their phone.
Yeah.
There's no one conversating, there's no one having discussions, none of that. Everybody's on their phone.
Mhm.
And it's sad because, like, sometimes those are the times when you get to really know your coworkers, is to really have these conversations and speak to each other, but we're so into our phones that we
Yes.
no longer have these conversations.
Like the jokes about the water cooler,
Yeah.
right? That's not happening anymore. And if we wanna take that and just bring it down to kids, the big thing that's happening to them, but I think this is, like, so parallel, it is parallel. They're not talking to each other at their lockers anymore. They're not talking to each other when they sit in class before the bell rings. I mean, that's when you I had the most fun, and they're, like, all on their phones now. So, there's all of that stuff. So, I like to say to people, "I just want to make you intentional. I want you to be intentional when you pick up your phone." So, I want you to be its master rather than its servant. And I really I when I was writing this course, so I did the first course in September, and there's another one coming up in January as, like, a New Year's resolution. I seriously would my husband and I obviously still live together, but we are 22, the four-year-old is now 22. Um, I would run downstairs and be like, "Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm going to Congress." Like, it is so bad what they're doing. And I think I don't know about you, but, like, righteous indignation is a motivator for me. And I think people need to understand, like, how these things are purposely built. Um, even the red dots, the notifications that are red, I think people can change them now, but they literally picked red on purpose because it's the most urgent color, and we humans cannot help but to clear it. It psychologically makes us, like, intense, and we have to clear it, and they know that. And when I was studying this class and getting the information for it, I found out that they hired behavioral psychologists to develop our apps and develop the phones. And I'm like, that is not okay. And then I got into why they were doing it, and it's because we're the raw material for ads. So if they can get you in a mood, and they have sensors on your phone, I'm gonna like freak you out right now if you don't know this, but like they have sensors on your phone. They know when you're leaning over, they know when you're walking slow. And so they're like, they don't just know, hey, Shannon is, 48 years old and she has a cat, right? They know when I'm in my bed, when I'm um, tired. And at that time, if they send me a bunch of skin stuff, it will get my self esteem all screwed up and they can sell me a wrinkle cream. And so they get you in the mood for the thing they're going to sell you. And I want people to understand that, like, we're their little puppets, and the advertisers bid on us in real time. They're like, "Shannon's doing this right now. Who wants to send her an ad?" And that to me is disgusting because it's not just watching us; it's actually like making the path for us. And I want people to know that. And then on top of it, I want them to know what it's doing to their brains. Because it's why you and your wife aren't going out. It's because that part of your brain that wants to go out is getting smaller, and the part that's stuck on these screens is getting bigger. That's very scientific terms right there.
Oh no, but it's true. It's the truth. It's a lot of you look at if you look up an item, all of a sudden you're getting
Uh-huh.
ads for that. If you're looking for a flight or whatever you're looking for, whatever you search for, they're of course they're looking at, okay, this is what he searched. Let's feed them a bunch of ads of whatever it
Yes.
is. And so, and even with what you watch on social media, like I'm very careful with what I am watching on social media, because then what if it's just one thing that's off, that's what you're gonna start getting.
The algorithm will pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, like yeah, and I keep coming back to the course, but it was so interesting to me. You can say not interested, and you can turn that stuff off, and you can retrain your algorithm back to what
Yeah.
you want it to. You can turn those sensors off your phone. But when people are like, "Oh, it knew exactly what I'm thinking," it knows exactly what it's thinking because it's making you think that way.
Mhm.
That's what's so crazy about it. That was such a twist to me. And then as I kept going and I got into the brain stuff, that's where it made me more passionate back about Planet Fassa because if it does this to you, your wife, me, and it starts doing that to our brains, can you imagine what it's doing to brains that aren't fully formed? It's terrible. Because they're that's why there's so much. I mean, I can't specifically say that they've linked it, but they're kind of linking it. That's why ADHD is so bad right now. Obviously, some of it is because of the schools and they took away recess and all that. I would have never made it, but um, yeah, it's crazy, and I really want people to know because life is it's so hard to live without your imagination.
Oh, I agree with you. I remember growing up and us having have to create characters in English class, and write our own stories, and use our imagination, and so it's definitely changed. There's so much things that growing up I wish that I don't understand why kids don't do it today.
And I didn't either, and I really thought, "Oh, they're just different from us." They're not different than us, their brains are developing different because of the screens. So, and the good news about all of this is we can rewire our brains because their brains are plastic. So that's kind of what I'm coming after. I'm like, okay, we can fix this. We just have to do it together. Like we cannot put the cigarettes at the eye level of the children. We can put them behind things. You know what I mean? We've done this before with cigarettes and seatbelts. Like we can, we can
Yeah.
fix this. But people need help because this is addictive. It's addictive for us. But yeah, I think the imagination, like this is, stuck in my mind podcast. You need your imagination to get out of your mind.
Oh yeah, no. I
You do.
since I've started doing the podcast and having these conversations, and basically trying to push more towards help to self-development and growth and health, and focus more on building yourself up. Yeah, it's really been, so it's opened up my mind to so much more things,
Yes.
because I'm actually having conversations with someone like yourself, and other people who see things like you do, and you start to realize, like, yeah, there's a lot of things that I'm able to do with my platform that I'm grateful for, that I'm able to have this platform to have you come on and talk about such a subject is it's important.
Mhm. Yeah, and you can't do I tell people this because if people are listening like, "Well, I don't really have a big imagination." You cannot do anything in life without your imagination. You picture the socks you're putting on before you put them on. You, probably before you listened to this podcast, you, imagined Will's voice. Like, you know his voice, you're thinking about it. You go to a restaurant, I really want people to think about this. You go to a restaurant and you are picking something off the menu, you are imagining what that food is gonna taste like. That's why you picked it. And even when you parked your car, when you go back to get your car, you have to imagine where you parked it, or you're never gonna get there. So, like, you have an imagination, but it can the reason your podcast is doing so well is because you're imagining different stuff you're gonna do with it. You're not just stuck, and
I know it's
eh
evolved, yeah.
yeah, because 'cause you're imagining it, and then you work toward that vision.
Yeah, no, it's definitely changed from the beginning to where it's at now, and it's evolved from where I started with it being 7 minutes long to sometimes now. Some of the episodes are I've had some a hour or so go over, but that's because it turns out to be a great conversation, and and
Mhm.
and sometimes when you just have a great conversation, just time just flies, and it just turns out to be a great episode.
It
So
and that too right there, the fact that you and I are having a conversation, how many kids right now cannot have a conversation?
not many.
And that's
How many adults have conversations?
yeah, and it's terrible, and again, I'm gonna keep going back to the neuroscience of it because if you don't develop that part of your brain when you're a kid, like, you just don't develop it, you're not outside playing, like, I'm trying to get kids Planet Fassa is all about giving kids simple activities for them to play so they're building up that part, but if you're not outside playing tag, like, let's say you and I are playing tag, and we've got, like, 2 other people with us, okay?
Mhm.
We're outside playing tag, we're having a great time, we've negotiated with each other about the rules, so we've learned negotiation, we've learned teamwork, and now, like, little Billy comes in, and we've planned this whole thing out for 4 people. Well, we're not going to look at Billy as a problem. We're going to look at him as a challenge, right? We're like, okay, we don't want to go in. We want Billy to play with us. So now we're renegotiating. Now we're working with each other. We're, learning. We're looking in each other's eyes. It's incredible. And my favorite part about the play thing, and there's all these like great benefits of play, but that's where you learn healthy expression. So let's say we're playing and I fall down and I hurt myself, or something like that. I learn physical resilience. We're not such wimps. I'm sorry, but like, I don't want to go home, so I'm just going to deal with my
Yeah,
injury.
you're gonna
Right?
suck it up. Yeah,
I want to stay outside with you guys.
yeah, because the
You know,
moment you go home with a scratch, you know you gotta go in, she gotta
You're done.
yeah.
So, it's that kind of thing, but it's also if you're let's say, Mary is being a jerk, okay? We're not gonna wanna play with her. She's gotta go home and fix herself up so she can be allowed back in the group, but if Mary's being a jerk on social media, she gets kicked out of that group, what does she do? She just goes to another group and acts like a jerk. You know what I mean? And you learn how to win, you learn how to lose, so that's why these kids are having such a hard time because they didn't have that dynamic. And so we get a little angry with them. I use angry, but I think we're frustrated and sad for them, but they can't look in your eyes and have a conversation. It's because they didn't have the training ground to learn how to do that stuff. So it's very scary to them.
Mhm.
Every elevator they get into, every interaction, everything that they have an interaction causes anxiety because they don't know what to do. So I think we can link arms as a society and fix this because it's literally we can rewire the brains, but we're gonna have to do it together because it's a lot of change.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you? Because I know, like with me, because I know we're both close in age, and we're both Gen Xers, and so I remember moments when was outside playing, and it was always about community with us, right? Being outside more. That's how we developed how to build a community because we were outside building and networking with our friends. And that's something that is lacking with these kids nowadays because they're not learning how to network. They're not learning how to build and learning how things are supposed to be working in society because this is where you learn.
That's where you learn in a fun way, in a good, safe way. Yeah.
Absolutely. So what exactly is Planet Fassa and how does it how do you want to really use it? I know because you explained the app and everything, but
Yeah. I'll lay it out for you. So basically, I'll go back to 31-year-old me. So I've got these kids. I really want them to be outside playing. but they keep coming into me, right? And after a while, kids get annoying. So what do people end up doing? Here's the screen. So then you're reinforcing the screen problem. When I would run out of ideas, sometimes I'd go on Google. So back then there was Google and Pinterest, really. Those were the only two places, but there was nothing organized. So I'd go on Google and I can look up activities and there's all these activities, right? Nothing organized. Pinterest, everyone's perfect, right? I'm like, I can't compete with that. I'm not going to be able to do that, right? So I was sitting there going, okay, what could we do? And so what this app is now, we can fast forward today with everything I learned. It is literally in your hand, hundreds of activities at your fingertips. They are simple activities. I think I might have said it like
So
hot lava mat.
is there like games that they can play outside?
It's outside games. Now I put it on an app because that's how we're used
Of
to
course, and
interacting with stuff.
information, yes.
Yeah. So what it is there's two types of things on there. There's nuggets and quick hits. Okay. And I'll describe them really fast. But the quick hits are like, well, let me step back first. What I did based on my knowledge from health incentive programs and being a consultant, we are driven by points. It's hysterical. We will do anything for points. So I was like, okay, how can we apply this to kids? So every activity in there is tagged with mind, heart, and or body points because we need mind, heart, and body to be full people. So they all have mind, heart, and body points. When the kids do the activities, mom and dad, say who did it, and they get the points, and the points go into a bank. And then mom and dad can set up rewards for them to earn the points. Right now, because we're new again, the rewards are anything from you get to pick dessert tonight, you get to have a, a dinner date with dad, whatever motivates your kids. I don't know what motivates your kids. And I also don't know how motivated your kids are. And what I mean is like you could have a kid that takes one of these activities and spends 5 minutes on it, right? So to get a reward, this kid should probably earn 10,000 points, doing 10 different activities for 5 minutes, where there's another kid who might take one activity and do it for 2 hours. So you can probably just give them a reward for that. You know your kid better than I do. So that's the whole system of it. It's just a points and reward system. But the activities are super simple things that 31, 35, 28-year-old you is not going to be able to come up with, 40-something-year-old you, depending on how old of a parent. So you just go in, you say, hey, I've got two kids, and they're all organized by time, materials, no materials, okay, and body points. And you're like, okay, I've got two kids. I need to make dinner. They're not being nice to each other. So I go 30 minutes, hard activities, go. And the app goes, boom, here's 10 ideas for you. And so kids, you're like, okay, kids, this is worth 200 points. If you get these points, you can pick dessert. And the kids are like, yeah, right? So we're just incentivizing them. It's like motivational manipulation, but that's Santa Claus. It's everything, but we're incentivizing them with play. So they're like, okay, they're like, okay, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to play. And the whole idea is as they're playing, that muscle that I keep talking about, that imagination muscle, that's building. So they're less and less coming to you, mom and dad. You're going to see them. I did this with my kids. You're going to see them started developing their imagination, and they're going to take hot lava monster and they're going to turn it into something else. And you're going to watch them build this. But then they can come back to the app. You say, again, they finished it, they get their points, and they can save their points in the bank or get a reward. The other thing with this is I wanted them to see mom and dad go to the app, get the thing, and then put the phone down. Like, hey, technology can be used as a tool, but you don't have to stay on it. So it's really just simple things, but you're not thinking about it. So I wanted to have it in one simple place. And then you can favorite the activities. You can go back and look. The app comes, you can sign yourself up, your spouse, your kids, grandma and grandpa, everybody can be involved in it. But it's just a way to give you activities. And I said there's two types. The nuggets are like longer activities, really drawn out. But the quick hits, we came up with those because that's for like when you're standing in line in the grocery store and your kids are driving you insane. You can go on the app and do a quick hit, and we'll give you something you can do in line for 5 minutes. No materials right there. You're in the car and they're going crazy. You don't want to put them on the iPad. We'll give you car ideas. And some of them are things that you and I did, but like padiddle. I don't know if you ever did padiddle. I changed that to something else because there's not so many, one-eyed cars anymore. The lights tell you, but I'm just taking simple things and I'm putting into a system because I don't want, there's other activity apps out there, but that's mom and dad saying, hey, we're going to do this. I want the kids to be jazzed about the points and be like, hey, I want to do this. And then the Fassa characters, I developed those. There's 7 of them. When you do go into the app, you get to pick what character you want to be. That is because I developed 7 different characters, so you can find one that kind of represents you. But each of those characters has their own book. And so to further offline stuff, you can get the books and there's a story, there's plot twists, there's coloring pages, there's activities, there's hard words, there's vocab challenges. So it's just another thing with that. So it's just more of like a whole world rather than just a one-off activity app. So that's how it works.
Awesome. That's awesome. So yes, it was great working with kids, but what are the patterns you're seeing in adults struggling with tech
Oh,
overload?
I just have to look in the mirror, right? What was the end of your question though?
What what's the pattern with you seeing in adults struggling with tech overload? Because in order to help the kids, we also have to help the parents.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people we're calling it gosh, when you do several things at one time. I can't think of the word right now. That's so
Multitasking.
multitasking. Thank you. It is not multitasking. It is mental fragmentation. That is the biggest thing right now. One of the craziest statistics I read, I'm going to get it maybe a little bit off, but we are switching tasks every 3 minutes, and it takes you over 20 minutes to get back into deep thinking. So if you've got your phone next to you and you're like writing something, doing anything, even writing an email, and you look at your phone, it buzzes, you break your concentration. You are so unproductive.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so it's just little things like that. And like the mental fragmentation, that's exhausting us. I mean, I want everybody to think about a day like when you aren't on your phone for a little bit, when you get back on your phone, it's exhausting. It's like when you are eating horribly. We've all done it. You just eat horribly and then you start taking care of yourself. Unless
Yeah.
you're like an awesome almost perfect human being. We've all just had time when we were eating horribly. So you're eating horribly. You start taking care of yourself. You feel great, but now you're on a road trip and you're like, I'm so hungry. I'm going to go to McDonald's. How do you feel? You feel
Ooh,
terrible. And you're like,
more
how
than
did
that,
I?
you know?
Yeah, you're like, ugh, how did I eat that a lot before? So that's kind of what I'm trying to show people. It's that like that heaviness that they're feeling. And I think the most interesting I would say that one of the best things that has happened to people who've gone through the course is that I challenge you to start by 10 minutes in the morning not to pick up your phone. So many people pick up their phone the first thing in the morning. And what that does is it makes your life directed by somebody else. All that stuff gets into you right away, and your stress level goes through the roof. And it could just be a social post that you see. It could be an email that comes through and it reminds you of everything you have to do that day. And all of a sudden, you're on high alert. Your brain's going. I tell people, give it 10 minutes and I do a 3 plus 3. I want you to write 3 things you're grateful for and 3 things you intend to do today. Because then you're starting your moment, your day in gratitude and intention. And it really helped everyone's lives. I think 100% of people who took my course stopped picking up their phone first thing in the morning because they saw instantly how different their day was. So it's just little things. I like to say I give people simple challenges, but just because they're simple, they're not easy. But, I just try to give simple challenges. So that's one of them. It's putting your phone down and not looking at it before you go to bed. Watch how much your sleep is different. And then the biggest thing that I think really everyone can try, put your phone on do not disturb for an hour. And I try to get people to say it with me, it is okay to be unreachable. It is okay to be unreachable. If you have a friend who gets mad at you for not texting them back, they need to get over it. They just need if they really need you, they should call you. You know?
Yeah,
It's a text message. It's a low context thing. I guess unless it says 911 alert alert. Well, if it's 911 alert alert, you probably should be calling. But
yeah,
like, and I know a lot of people get worried that they're gonna miss an important phone call. I understand that, but I challenge people like, so what do you do when you're on an airplane? What do you do when you're in the shower? Like, it's okay to be unreachable. If there is a life or death situation, if somebody in your family is in the hospital, if somebody's about to have a baby, have the phone by you. You would have been sitting by the corded phone and in our time, right?
yeah,
But most of the time, you're a parent. You're like, what if the school calls? Well, give the school your husband's wife's number, your parents' number, and your neighbor's number. They'll find you. So it's those kind of things. I think, yeah, as I'm saying it, like the fear of being unreachable, really we need to get over, and we need to start having more grace with each other because it's just silly. Like, let people be. Yeah.
yeah. Definitely, definitely let people be. All right. So tell us about your coaching. What does break the chain mean for grown-ups?
So break the chain for me was that master slave. situation. I should say master servant. I want people to break away from their phone. I want people to use it as the tool it was meant to be. Um, it is an awesome tool. It's your phone, it's your alarm clock, right? It's the way you communicate with people. I want people to put it back into being a tool. So it's break the chain of tech addiction. It's break the chain of having to be present all the time with other people. Not present, that's our connected all the time. I want you to be present. It's breaking that kind of chain. That's what I meant by it. Like, you don't have to be anchored to this thing. You're in control. You're the human being. So that's what I did, and I have a tagline sometimes that I use, like, "Dear phone, it's not me, it's you." Like, we're done. Yeah. We're done here. But, yeah, it's just I want people to understand it's a very, I teach it with a lot of grace because I have the same problem. I'm a human being too. I'm not walking perfectly in this. Uh, and I want to empower people. So I say educate, and, empower, um, yeah, I can't think of the other word right now. That's really great. But I just give people the information they need. I give them tools. Like, I have tutorials that I have available for people. If I say put your phone on sleep mode and you don't know what I mean, you go right inside the program and there's a tutorial on sleep mode. So you don't have to go search for yourself. I'm just really empowering people then to take back their mornings, take back their nights. And I just give little things they can try. So that's what break the chain is.
Wow, okay. Awesome. What so what does the future look like for Planet Fassa and this movement that's going on?
My dream of the future is streets filled with laughter. I want kids to be outside again. I want families to be outside again. You said something earlier about networking. I think a lot of reason that communities, neighborhoods aren't doing that anymore is because of social media. Like, you can stay inside your house and not know anybody in your neighborhood. And I think that's really hurting moms, especially because moms used to be able to communicate with each other. Dads too, but like, I'm talking stay at home moms right now, they used to be able to say, "Hey, can you watch my kid? I have a doctor's appointment," versus taking the kid to the office and putting him on the screen,
Mhm.
right? So I would love to have a bunch of FAFSA families and, hey, I have Planet FAFSA, I have Planet FAFSA. Hey, both our kids are playing. They can both earn points. And then the kids, like, they don't need that app anymore because they've played so much. Their imagination muscle has grown. That is the future for me. I said before, I think kids need to learn screens. I just don't think they need smartphones. They absolutely don't need smartphones. You don't need your internet in your pocket when you're 14 years old. You just don't. You already are worried enough about your brand at school. You don't need an online brand. It's just too much. It's too much for their little bodies, and it's too much for their brains. But I want eventually Planet Fassa to be a place that kids. Right now, the app is for adults to do with kids. I eventually do want to have a place where I have imagination. So each one of my characters has their own imagination, and the kids can come online. But while they're online, they're doing something productive. For instance, Allie is one of my characters. She is very motherly, so they could come online and learn how to bake brownies for 10 minutes, and then they can go with mom and earn points actually baking brownies. But I do think kids need to learn the internet. They need to learn how to type. They need to learn how to look things up. But we want to make sure when they're actually on the internet, they're doing something productive. It's like the difference between me listening to this podcast and learning something, or me doom scrolling for 2 hours. Right. So
Yeah.
that's the future to me. But I jokingly say that my goal is to work people off of my product, so you don't need me. Like, I like to work with the break the chain. The idea is to get people through my class, and now they've got so much time. They're like, "Wait a minute, I'm not stuck to my phone. I have all this time." So I have people like, "Hey, I'm not a coach, but, like, now you can go work with this mindset coach. You can go learn this gardening technique." So it's just getting people back into the joy of living. And that's why I have my podcast, Let There Be Joy. Like, come on. Like, so that's the future of the whole thing. I just want people to calm down, be present, and be joyful again, and not be comparing themselves to each other, not feel like they have to capture every moment on screen. Just go and have a good time.
Yeah. And that's why I do the podcast, is because I if I found something that's really helped me, the I've I've found my purpose doing my podcast, honestly.
Yeah.
It's helped me want to want it's really helped me want to help others. It's given me a platform where I can have others come share their stories and share their knowledge, And who knows who needs to hear this message? This message is for someone out there. So,
You know what? I love that.
s-
I
and,
love that. It's true.
and so being able to put this message out there, and it to me is I like you said, the screen time is needed for some certain to a certain degree, but not to the degree where it's at now, where everyone, like I said, everyone's on their phone. Like if you go out to a restaurant and you
Oh,
sit down, everyone is on their phone.
yeah.
There's no one having conversations, and that
It should be something you do, not everything you do.
no, yes, but
Yeah.
when you're sitting down, even for dinner, if you're sitting at dinner, sit down and have a conversation. "Hey, how was school?"
Yes.
This is what we're lacking now,
Mhm.
and it's a shame. It shouldn't be it should never like, I couldn't sit down and play a game at the dinner table with my mother, there was none of that. It was
No,
just it
and
was
the thing that's scary about that, for the people who are doing that, and there's no blame here. Like,
oh,
people
no.
we didn't know, now we do, so we need to do something about it, but, the internet is raising your kids if you're not having the conversation with them. So
Yeah.
you've got people that are you know, what's really interesting is when it used to be that if you were famous, you did something excellent, right? You were famous because you did something excellent. Now you're famous because who knows what. You made a sorry, but you made a sex tape. That's why you're famous. Like,
Yeah.
so your kids are idolizing people who are famous not because they're excellent,
Mhm.
and they're learning really bad behaviors. So I want people to understand that too. That's not good. That's just not good.
It's
They have
not.
access to everyone on the internet. Yeah.
No, no, absolutely, and it's because it's crazy because content like this, I have yeah, I'm proud of the audience I've built and everything, but people rather look at what you talk about, rather look at a sex tape than watch something that's
Yeah.
beneficial or something that's that's meant to help enlighten you and develop you, and that's the problem.
It's a
It's
problem.
and so that's why I focus on just pushing out the content that I push out. I don't that's my content is what I want. This is what I want to infuse into the algorithm, and this is
Yes.
I'm not changing that. I don't want I could have easily gone the fact went and done skits where it was crazy and super, but that's not what I want to focus on.
No.
My gear was I want to help people. I'm here to serve others, and so my content is meant to serve others, and that's it. That's all
Yeah.
I
Well,
want.
and here's the thing. I've been doing this for a long time, and sometimes I think people are like, "Well, I only get this many views and I only get this many likes." Listen, some of the best videos I've ever watched that's helped me the most had barely any views on it. So, you don't know where you're planting a seed. And I think that's kinda what you're saying too. Like, you don't know who's gonna watch this who just needed something maybe one of us said today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh man, I love this conversation.
me
This is
too.
great. This is great. This is great. So, what personal habits keep you grounded and present today?
Okay. So I practice what I preach, and I don't look at my phone in the morning. I say I try because I'm not gonna lie on it. There are days I'm not great. I try to spend time with the Lord every morning. Keep myself grounded and make sure I'm walking in his will.
I'm
Uh,
glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you because that's something I intentionally worked on at the beginning of this year was
yeah,
my relationship with God was with my personal relation with him. And like I always say, did I say I was going to go to church? No, my thing was my personal relationship. The time I spent talking to him, worshiping, it was just something that I needed. I said I needed to focus on, and since I've been doing that, things have really been changing. There's been a
yes,
shift in a lot of things that are happening,
yeah.
and again, is I attributed it to the fact that I intentionally said at the beginning of this year that was a relationship that I wanted to improve.
Mhm.
That
He's a
was
he's a he's a good dad.
yeah, no, it was
You
something
have
I
a
really
relationship with
yeah,
him, he'll come through. I mean, that's what he wants a relationship with you, and I think, uh, we keep going to stuck in my mind, but whatever happens in your life, however hard things are, if you can focus on his love for you, nothing else really matters. So that's been very good for me. So I really intentionally do that, and I try to. I always say try because I don't want to. Girl is not perfect.
Listen, we know none of us. Listen, none of us are.
Who is right?
None
But
of us are. We're still growing and
we're still
developing.
growing the whole time. So I like to read a faith book and a mindset book every month, and that sometimes is Audible. I have it on Audible, but that really keeps me going because mindset is almost everything, and the devil goes after your mind. That's where most of the war is. That's more most spiritual war. He's lying to you, has God said. So if you can keep yourself in faith and your mindset up, and there's so many people out there that like this podcast, listening to stuff like this, keep yourself motivated with people's stories because there's little nuggets in there that will keep you going. So those are some things that I do just keep myself like really, really motivated and moving and fresh every day. Because I like to tell people willpower is only strong in the morning. Like you and motivation will only get you so far.
Oh,
You gotta do other stuff.
by the end of the day, you've been beaten down
Like,
so much that
yeah.
you lose a little. Some of that willpower's gone. Yeah, early in the morning, you're refreshed. You're
Like,
ready to
yeah.
come in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is. No, listen, we're human. We're not perfect. We sometimes we slip, and we just got to get back up. And that's what it is. That's what it is with anything in life. We we just got to learn how to really start cherishing everything that we have and looking because life is so short. Like even recently, a coworker of mine passed away, 50 something years old.
Mm.
Boy just went in his sleep, and you just go to realize. But he was someone who rode his bike. He had a motorcycle. Was
Oh
did things for
man.
the community, and so he lived a real purposeful life. But it was just still sad. It made me see like, okay,
Yeah.
like what kind of legacy am I leaving? What am I doing to make this a better place by the time I leave?
Yeah. And I think the other thing, and I think this is gonna resonate with you, impact. Like, if I can see that I'm having impact, that is really important to me. So that's the legacy thing that you just said. But who can I have an impact on? I that keeps me going. So, like I said, I use the thing of like you might make a video, no one sees it. Someone sees it,
Mhm.
and you're sharing. Don't keep the stuff that you know to yourself. You know what I mean? Like share what you know.
Yeah.
Um, and it will come back at you too. Like I never thought I'd know all this stuff about neuroscience of the brain having to do with screens, but I just kept going at it and at it and at it. Now I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. So those are the things that keep me going.
Oh no, I've learned in the past 5 years, I've learned how to edit audio, video, how to format books. So
Yeah.
we self-published a few books already. I've launched an internet radio station. Um, I'm I've launched
Right?
a pretty successful podcast. So and it was like once I started the podcast, like all these creative juices started flowing, right? Like ideas just started coming to me. Like I want to do this. I want to create this brand. Do this. Start and that was something that was like okay because I've always considered myself I've played sports growing up, played baseball, football. So I've always considered myself more of an athlete and maybe not so creative. And but when I started doing the podcast, I started realizing like maybe I am creative. I do have
Uh-huh.
some secret things that I didn't know I was capable of doing. But now at this age at 44 when I started everything, I'm doing stuff that like, okay,
What?
this is
Yeah.
surprising. Like
Yeah,
it,
that's another great point. You are never too old.
oh
You
no,
just aren't.
yeah.
I had the same thing as you. I this last few years, I have just since I picked this back up, I can't believe the stuff I've learned and I'm doing. I'm like, okay, you just keep going. And you also learn the stuff you don't want to do, which is important too, right? You're like,
That's where you learn like, all right, I need to
I
delegate
need
that
to
to
I
someone
need to
else.
delegate that because
Yeah.
that just did not go well.
Yeah, I just don't enjoy that task, you know. And there's tasks you be like, yeah, I need to find someone that's gonna do that for me and I don't have to deal with that.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's something I'm learning now where I'm like, okay, I'm need to start
Have
weaning
you
off. And,
have you read the book, by Dr. Benjamin Hardy? It's Who, Not How.
oh, all
It
right,
is so good.
I'll look it up.
Highly recommend it. That's
Okay,
exactly what you're talking about. Not how am I gonna do this, who's gonna do this?
yeah,
And you're always someone else's how, so don't feel bad about getting a who.
yeah.
Because if you're hiring someone that you're there how they're gonna get money, you see what I mean? Like, how they're gonna pay for dinner and all that stuff. It's just a very cool book.
All right, I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna
Who,
look.
Not
Yeah,
How.
I'll get it. I get after the show. I'll look it up and order it.
Yeah.
But all right, so for anyone listening who feels overwhelmed, what is the first step towards gaining some joy and some freedom out there?
Well, I think okay, so for me, usually when I feel overwhelmed, it's because I haven't done something silly. And what I mean by that is I'm like letting a bill or I don't even know, but just something that's like on my mind and I haven't done it. And then I actually go and I make a molehill into a mountain. And then I actually go do it and it takes 5 minutes. Do you know what I'm talking about? Is that like that email you're not sending?
Mhm.
Or it's not that you can't pay the bill, you're just not paying the bill. I don't even know. But the silly little things that you just let build up, just do them. And you'll see it's like 5 minutes. So the mountain will come back down to the molehill. Um, there's that. But joy-wise, like, so there's that. Like, that is a huge thing for me. I do that all the time, and I'm like, "Why did I just make that?" Like, it just keeps building every day I'm not doing it. It's like, "Just send the email, you weirdo." Like, what's gonna happen? So, don't do that. Um, and then, though, for joy, honestly, try to put your phone no, try, do. Put your phone on do not disturb for a half an hour. And you can do things if you don't know how to do this, it should be pretty simple, but you can put breakthrough calls on there. So you can when you hit do not disturb on your phone, it will ask you like, is there anybody who wants to break through? So you can put your kids, your parents, whoever on there. So they will break through if something comes up. Your kid's school, okay? And spend that half an hour not on your phone, but in silence or just writing an email. Just put your phone on do not disturb and focus on one thing. It will bring you so much peace, present, productivity. Start with a half an hour. You will become obsessed with it because you're going to be like this. I'm so much more productive. I'm so much more focused. I'm so much more joyful. I'm happy. And that will start rewiring your brain for wanting more of that stuff. Because then you will be like that McDonald's thing. When you go back to it, you're gonna be like, "Ugh, I can't stand this." So, that is the easiest thing to do.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
if you do have a friend who gets mad at you for not texting them back, reconsider your friendship. Sorry, but I mean, come on.
I don't get mad when not. I don't get upset when people don't respond. They might be busy. It might have slid
You
through.
don't know.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
The only one that really gets mad at me when I don't respond to the text is my wife.
Well, duh. I mean,
So,
like, take that off the table. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
know.
husbands need to respond right away at any time of the day.
But, thank you so much for being a guest. Now you're gonna get the spotlight and, you get to plug away and let everybody know where they can find you, websites, everything.
Yeah. Okay. You can find me at sscoulter.com. So that's S as in Shannon, S as in Sue. So that's my name. Coulter, COULTER.com. Everything I've talked about today is there. The Planet Fassa is there, Break the Chain. I always have a code out there to get 50% off Break the Chain because my goal is to get as many people through it as possible because I think it is going to change what we do with technology. Remember what I said, it's the cigarettes of today. It's purposely built to get you addicted. So I want you to understand what it's doing to you so you can be in control. So like again, it's sscoulter.com. My books are out there. The Fassa Tales are out there. The Fassa Nuggets of Fun app is coming in 2026. And I also didn't mention it, but I have two books out there, God's Dad Jokes and God's Dad Jokes coloring books. And those are really bad dad jokes, but written with scriptures. So again, sscoulter.com. And that is it.
Alright, everybody, definitely go check out sscultures.com. Get the books. Definitely get the dad books. I can imagine it. They're and dad jokes are never good, though. They're never
No, no, no. These are scriptural ones. I'll give you one. Do you know about the talking donkey?
no.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, in the Bible, there's a talking donkey. He talks to Balaam. Balaam is a prophet. He will not listen to God. And so God moves on a donkey. Okay. This is why the Bible is better than anything else. And the donkey has to talk to Balaam. So my joke is, what did the donkey say to Balaam?
So what did the donkey say to Balin?
Don't be such a me.
Don't be such a okay. I get
That's
it.
a little naughty one. In the kids' version, it's but don't stop horsing around. But in the adult version, it's don't be such a me.
That's a good one. That's a good one. No, that was a good one. But thank you so much for being a guest. But don't leave just yet. Let me close out the show and
Okay.
we'll chat a little bit off the air. But thank you so much for being a guest. I
Thank you
had
for
a great time.
yeah. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Another great episode. I love it. This was great. If this episode inspired you to rethink how screens are shaping your life, connect with SS Coulter, pick up her Planet Fassa series, and listen to her Let There Be Joy podcast. And share this episode with a parent, teacher, or adult who's been craving more peace, play, and presence. Life is happening off screen. Go live it. And as always, stay wise. You know how your boy Wise does it. Peace out.